Country Music Hall of Fame. It's Brad Paisley. We call this the Band Against Cancer with Sarah Cannon presents Brad Paisley, Love and War. It's a brand new project, a brand new album, the first visual album, as we call it.
Yeah, which I can't wait for people to see. I think that you got to see it.
I got to see it, loved it.
Thank you. It's you know what's interesting is it's the kind of thing that you hear the concept and you think, well, that could be good or that could be boring, and it's not boring, is it?
No, it wasn't. I don't know how long it actually was.
It's 1 hour, 2 minutes.
It didn't seem like that long at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought the other day too. I watched it for the first time all the way through on like Saturday, and it was like, oh, this is really entertaining. And what makes it fun, I think, is I am as vulnerable as I have ever been. I literally was willing to make a fool of myself for this thing, as you can see. I mean, I'm in an orange jumpsuit in a skydiving chamber, looking like a moron. And at the same time, I think by doing that, in some way, by letting myself look foolish, I look cooler than normal.
Well, let me fangirl just a little bit because I'm a big Paisley fan.
You're a sweetheart that way.
And I always judge whether or not I'm a fan of somebody as to whether or not I will actually go spend money on their music.
Oh,
because I mean we get everything just about.
First of all, no one does that anymore. No one buys anything.
Well, I'll actually buy Brad Paisley music. I shouldn't be telling. I'll buy Brad Paisley. I'll buy George Strait. I'll buy Keith Urban.
That's nice.
Because I'm a guitar nerd, so I love great guitar players, and you're one of those. So okay, fangirl out of the way. Let's move back to the album. John Fogerty, writing with him and performing with him.
I was never so intimidated as when I said to him, hey, do you want to co-write? I thought for sure he'd say, oh, I don't know. And he said, yes, let's do that. And then he shows up at the studio, he flies to Nashville, sits down and says, how do we do this? And I said, well, we'll just... He's like, no, I don't know. I've never done this before. It was his first ever co-writing session.
Always done it on his own.
It was nuts. It was like, I was like, well, great. I already felt pressure, but now, now I'm going to ruin the man if this doesn't go well. And luckily, I knew exactly what I wanted to say with him topically, which was, I thought, as the voice of the Vietnam era, this is a man that people will listen to, more so than if I just said this by myself. When we say that the treatment of veterans has gotten to be horrendous and it's not fair and it's not right, and we need to fix this, and that's what we wrote.
And the thing I appreciated so much about it is it really is a song that everybody can come around regardless of your political point of view.
Yeah, that's difficult to do, and it's an interesting thing to hear a song like that and go, well, that sounds defiant and brave, but really, honestly, I don't know about brave because we're just telling the truth. I mean, it's unfortunately, I'd love to think that, like I was saying to John, I'd love to think that our song is obsolete in 6 months, but we both know that's not the case. There's just too much that's fixing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very impressed. Had a chance to visit with Bill Anderson. Actually, I love the fact that you have been able to continue to educate today's fans about the past of country music, because I know so many that don't know that. And I love that you have been writing with Bill Anderson and actually brought him in to perform, and the way you've woven these country stars from the past all through your career, I love that.
Well, it means the world to me to be able to first of all, it's selfishly, I grew up a fan of these guys, and I was lucky that I was kind of this uber nerd that got raised by a grandpa who, I didn't realize when I was a kid that other kids weren't listening to Roy Clark. I thought they all were. I thought, well, this will get the girls going. When I'm singing "Thank God and Greyhound You're Gone," these girls will be flipping out, or something, or take an old cold tater and wait. They're gonna be throwing bras at me. But it took me a while to realize, like, oh, I'm kind of a fossil, and in that sense, it's always just been fun for me as I have success to throw Jimmy Dickens in a video and also watch him get as big a kick or bigger out of being in that as I did. And the same with Bill Anderson and I. But the thing is with Bill, this is one of the greatest songwriters in the history of country music. And I called him the greatest living songwriter yesterday. I stand by that. In country music, he is the greatest living songwriter we have. And it was really nice to be able to sort of pay respect to him by collaborating with him on this record, and also take him an idea that I said to him, I can't believe that you guys didn't write this in like 1982. Dying to See Her. I mean,
yeah, it's a great song.
It's just been laying there. You guys, you know, I had, you know, it took an idiot like me to bring this to your attention.
You know, I had to drag him over to his plaque last night and take a picture with him.
How about that?
You know, we're in the rotunda.
That's pretty amazing. Think about that.
Oh, I know exactly.
How many people
amazing.
have a picture with him by that?
I probably not many.
No,
at all.
not very many.
And I was like, I did not care. I don't care who I offend.
Yeah, of course.
I'm here.
I'm glad you did that.
And of course he was gracious, like absolutely,
sure.
yeah, come on, let's do it.
That's a great, what a great idea. I'm jealous that I didn't get that yesterday. I never thought of that.
I thought, why is not everybody over here doing this?
Well, again, you're smarter than the rest of us because I never thought of it either.
Let me also just say, you have the most well-mannered children.
Did you get to talk to them?
I didn't really talk to them because I didn't want to.
Good.
I didn't know.
I'm glad you weren't around.
I didn't know what that boundary was, you know. But I saw your kids, I saw your lovely wife there last night, and I really was amazed at just how well-mannered they were. And if I had taken my kids to work with me when I was that age,
Well,
it would have been a mess.
Well, hopefully they turned out all right, but that doesn't mean mine will. That's for sure, just because they're polite right now. I've the proudest I've ever been of my oldest kid was with Mick Jagger when we were sitting at my bar in the house when he was there to record, and Huck and so Mick was having a beer, and Huck was having, I don't know, scotch or something, and something like that, maybe a Shirley Temple. And Mick said we were just goofing around, and Huck turns to Mick and says, Mick, I have a question. And this was unprompted. I had no idea where this came from.
Right.
Was Muddy nice? And Mick said, excuse me? He said, was Muddy Waters nice? And Mick said, yes, he was incredible to us. He's the reason we're the Rolling Stones, and I loved him. And then Huck walks away and said, oh yeah, I wondered. And he walks away, and Mick goes, what the heck was that? And I go, I don't know. And Mike, he had read a book about Muddy Waters and how he'd influenced the Rolling Stones.
He's a bigger nerd than you.
I guess. I mean, my questions were all like Chris Farley.
Oh, so Mick Jagger is on the album, and how did the collaboration with Timbaland come around?
Well, we met out in L.A. and he said, you know, it'd be fun to produce a country thing, and I said, well, you know, what would it sound like if we worked together? And he said, I think I know what would work great. How about where our worlds collide the best is bluegrass? And I said, yeah, I understand what you mean. And that instantly sold me. I was like, let's do it. This is the way to go. And the things that we wrote, the two things on this record so far, we wrote other things too, but for this record, there's countries in it. It's really wild.
I loved it.
It's really wild to see how that collaboration bore this fruit. That's this odd new, I call it grasshopper. So it feels like grasshopper or something, doesn't it?
Well, let me say thank you for several things. Congratulations on the project. Thank you for having us out here as a country music fan, as a music nerd. This has been a blast. Watching you and Carmody and Bill Anderson last night.
Do you know that's the first time Bill Anderson ever sang at Tootsie's?
Is it really?
He's never performed at Tootsie's until last night.
I cannot believe that.
Here he is singing City Lights on Broadway in Nashville. It's unbelievable to think about.
It was awesome. But
I can't believe we pulled that off.
But thank you so much. I am grateful.
I'm thrilled to. Thank you.
Awesome, brother.